shootings over the weekend. We had a shooting in Washington where a father killed 5 of his children, 4 daughters and a son, all youngsters, ages 7 to 16, killed them with a shotgun, and then he turned a shotgun on himself. Apparently he was having trouble with his wife. They were thinking about separating, and he committed suicide after he murdered his children. I always wish they would reverse it. And then in Pittsburgh, we had a crazy guy who was convinced that Barack Obama was going to take away his guns and that the police were not going to be able to control the population. So when the police came over to his house, he ironically shot them. Well, the police can't control the population very well if you go around shooting them, right? And you know when your guns get taken away? When you use them against police officers. So he killed 3 cops in basically an ambush. Young guy, age of 23. Look, you know, I don't know how much we're supposed to say it or not say it, but obviously bought into the right-wing ideology. Come on. By the way, you know, we exercise so much restraint on the left and in the center. You know, the guy is clearly a right-wing nut, thinks Obama's going to take his guns away, so he uses them against cops. And we're walking on eggshells, right? Now, do you think the right-wing does the same thing? When, like, let's say a crazy environmentalist group, absolutely fringe group, like burns down a car dealership or something, they go ballistic. They're like, you see, this is how all liberals are, all liberals. And those people aren't even liberals, they're anarchists, right? So in this case, yeah, we had a right-wing nut who shot 3 officers in the head. And so, now my question is, before that, by the way, we had the shooter in Binghamton, New York, killed 13, Jiverly Wong. Turns out that's an alias. His real name was Jiverly Wong. Worst alias in the world. Okay, so now we got 3 different shootings, all these people dead. And then a couple of weeks earlier, remember we had the Alabama shooting, 10 people dead in that case, and then the guy shot himself. And in the North Carolina, we had a nursing home shooting, 8 people killed there. 1 nurse and 7 patients, elderly patients. So that's 5 massive shootings within a span of a couple of weeks. And 3 huge shootings within a span of a couple of days. When do we get to the point where we say, we've gotten to the tipping point, and this gun violence is absolutely positively out of control, and that we can get a decent, sizable group of politicians to say, hey, wait a minute. Maybe it doesn't really help if all these people are armed. That if we allow everybody to get a gun so damn easy in this country, that perhaps that doesn't really help, but winds up hurting in terms of violence. And America does have a tremendous amount of gun violence per capita compared to the rest of the world, let alone to the other developed countries. Oh, we're in disastrous shape. And of course the answer that the right wing have is, no, you don't understand. If we just give away more guns, that'll be better. So let me get this right. The elderly patients, some of whom had Alzheimer's, should they have also been packing heat? So when the guy came in, they could have shot him? And the funny thing is, there are really crazy gun rights advocates who say, no, all right, maybe not the Alzheimer patients, but the nurses should have been packing in North Carolina. Really? We want nurses coming in with weaponry. I mean, okay, what, handguns, pistols, rifles, shotguns? What should the nurses bring in? All right, let me ask you about the Washington case. So, should the kids have been packing heat in the case that their dad decided to go nuts? Should the kids have had a Glock or a Gat? Come on, man. This is insanity. The idea that we will have less gun violence if we have more guns is empirically wrong. Look at, it's out of control now, all over America. Now, what's the right answer? That's a hell of a lot trickier, okay? And don't get me wrong, I know the American tradition of guns and how you value it and how people enjoy it and they go hunting. And a lot of people use guns in legitimate ways, and a lot of them have it for self-defense. I know all that. And the Second Amendment, you can make a good and decent case. You know, some will say no, it was for militias. Some will say, hey, you know what, that was back when they had muskets and you could fire off 1 or 2 shots maybe, right? Now we got AK-47s. Now, so I'm not going to get into the issue of should we ban them entirely. It's complicated politically, nearly impossible. You got the Second Amendment issues, which are legitimate concern. And I don't know if it's in the American tradition to ban all guns. But do we have to get stricter on guns? Absolutely. They should be the hardest things to get. You should have to go through a hell of a lot of checks to make sure that you're a guy we can trust. Instead, we hand them out at Walmart. They're the easiest thing in the world. You come in, you're like, oh yeah, I'd like a gun here, boom, boom. Okay, you walk out with a gun. So, and then of course we have all these guns running throughout the country, and then we pretend to be surprised when we get one shooting after another. So my final question in this regard is this. What will it take for the NRA and gun rights advocates to say, hey, you know what? Maybe this is getting a bit out of hand. Maybe we should have some reasonable regulation of guns in this country. If these 5 shootings didn't do it, would 7 do it? Would 9 do it? Would 13, 15, 17? What if we had 28 shootings in a week of 3 people or more dying? Would that do it? No, nothing will do it, right? Because, I mean, it's pretty damn out of control at this point. If 5 massive shootings don't do it, what will? At what point do you say, hey, you know what? Maybe it is a dumb idea to give everybody a gun really, really easy. Because it turns out a certain percentage of the population is a little unbalanced. And that without a gun, they might be able to do some damage, but not that much. With a gun, they could do tremendous damage. I'm sure that politically we have not gotten to that point, so our politicians will continue to bow down to the NRA, and they say, oh, no, we will never regulate guns under any circumstances. Please, please, please don't run ads against us. Because the Democrats, of course, are so deathly afraid to touch this topic, and the Republicans are on the side of the NRA. So we're going to get no action on it, and I don't know when the public finally says enough is enough. Are we there yet? Are we getting close? You tell me.